Something big is brewing with Alexandra Ayala, whose potential is becoming increasingly overwhelming and evident to the general public. The 20-year-old Filipino seems ready to make a leap in quality at Indian Wells 2026, having reached the round of 16 after Corey Goff's withdrawal, and spoke at a press conference with great honesty and maturity about her present and future aspirations. Alexandra Ayala's progress continues to solidify on the WTA Tour. The young Filipino player put in a very solid performance at the BNP Paribas Open, in a match marked by an unusual outcome following the withdrawal of Coco Gauff. Although the ending was not what anyone wanted, Eala left with positive feelings after competing head-to-head against one of the great figures of world tennis. At a press conference, the Asian tennis player analyzed her performance, explained how she manages moments of maximum pressure, and reflected on the growth of tennis in emerging regions thanks to the presence of new players on the circuit. One of the most interesting aspects of Eala's appearance was her reflection on mental management in high-level matches. The Filipino explained that she does not use any specific technique to control her nerves at important moments. "There is no specific technique that I use," she said. "I think that over the years, I have gained some experience in how to handle these high-pressure situations." For her, the key is to simplify her mental approach during the match. "What I try to do is focus on the next thing I have to do," she explained. "I try not to think about the big picture. I concentrate on what I can control." This approach becomes even more important when she competes on big stages or against top-level opponents. When you play against great players or on important courts, everything intensifies a little more, she acknowledged. In addition to her sporting progress, Eala has become an important figure in the growth of tennis in the Philippines and Southeast Asia. Her presence at major tournaments has sparked interest among new fans in regions where the sport has not always had a strong tradition. The player herself recognizes this phenomenon. "Tennis has grown tremendously in my country," she explained. "That makes people come out to support me because tennis is much more popular now." Eala also cited the increase in Asian representation at major tournaments as an example. She recalled that at the Australian Open, there were several players from Southeast Asia in the main draw, which helped attract new audiences to the sport. That attracted a different audience that perhaps wasn't as present in other years, she said. In her opinion, the growth of tennis globally depends precisely on developing the sport in countries where it does not yet have a strong presence. If tennis grows in those countries, the sport will grow naturally, and more high-level players will also emerge, she explained. Alexandra Ayala's next challenge in the tournament will be her match against Linda Noskova. Although she admitted that she had not yet had time to analyze the match in depth, she made her motivation clear. "Linda is an incredible player, very powerful and very experienced for her age," she said. The Filipino is looking forward to the match, as it represents a new step in her career at Indian Wells 2026. "It's my first quarterfinal at Indian Wells, so I'm going to approach it with good preparation and a lot of motivation." But what does Eala need to do to beat Noskova? What should be the keys to the match for the Filipino tennis player? What aspects should Alex attack to reach the semifinals? Stay tuned because in today's video, we are going to explain how Alex Eala should play to continue growing in her sporting career and win one of the most important matches of her life. But before we start with this analysis, if you like these kinds of videos, you have to do 3 things. First, subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. Second, share my channel with as many people as possible so I can continue creating more content like this. Third, leave a comment telling me if you think Alex Eala will win this match. Have you done that? Now let's get started with the analysis. Let's start with Eala's most underrated weapon, one that Noskova has never faced before on the WTA Tour. Alex Eala is left-handed, and in women's tennis, that's extremely rare. Kim Clijsters, former world number 1 and 4-time Grand Slam champion, explained it just a few weeks ago in an interview with Tennis 365. When a left-hander hits a cross-court forehand, she drags her opponent off the court in a way that is completely different from what they are used to defending. She added that the combination of that angle with Eala's aggressive backhand is something that, to quote her, makes opponents feel very uncomfortable. Noskova has spent the entire season preparing her game plans against right-handed players. All her muscle memory, all her anticipation of where the ball will land on serve and in the rally is geared toward right-handed players. This statistic is staggering, and very few people are using it in their analysis tonight. According to tennis stats,
Linda Noskova averages 5.2 double faults per match in 2026. And it's not a statistical anomaly. In 90% of her matches, she has committed more than 2.5 double faults. And in 80%, she has committed more than 3.5. Remember the match she played today to reach the round of 16? Noskova needed almost 2.5 hours to beat Serena Cirstea, and she did it from a set down. It was no walk in the park. Now think about this. Eala has a 59% second serve point win percentage according to Tennis Ratio. In other words, when her opponent misses her first serve, Eala attacks. And she converts. Noskova is going to double fault at crucial moments. It's statistically almost inevitable given her 2026 pattern. And Eala has to be mentally prepared to convert those gifts, especially in the break games of each set. Noskova has a formidable serve when it works, yes, but when it doesn't, she gives away free points, and Eala doesn't waste free points. This is perhaps the most revealing piece of information in this analysis, and you can check it directly on the Tennis Ratio statistics pages for both players. In the last 52 weeks, Eala has a record of 3 wins and 3 losses against top 10 opponents. That's a 50% success rate. Against the top 20, she also has a 50% success rate. Those wins include Madison Keys, top 5 at the time, Iga Swiatek, world number 2, and this week, Coco Gauff, although that was due to retirement. Now look at Noskova against the top 10 in that same period. 3 wins and 6 losses. A 33.3% success rate. Against the top 20, 5 wins and 11 losses. 31.2%. Eala has a track record of performing under pressure against the best that is objectively superior to Noskova's at this point in the year. And there's more. This week's record at Indian Wells also speaks for itself. Eala came into this match after beating Diana Yastremska in 3 sets in a very tough match, with momentum and confidence built on the court. Noskova also won, but she came back from a set down, and it took her almost 2.5 hours. That takes a physical and mental toll that doesn't disappear in a day. Let's talk about pure exchange tactics. Kim Clijsters said it with surgical precision. Eala's backhand is better than her forehand. It's a shot that not only keeps the exchange going, but also finishes it. It creates angle, opens up the court, and forces the opponent to her non-dominant side. Noskova, according to Tennis Ratio, has a service break rate of 30%. That is, she only converts the break in 3 out of 10 games against her opponent. That's low for a player of her level. Why? Because Noskova is a power player. She needs short points. She needs her opponent to give her a ball she can hit out. When the point gets long and complicated, when there are exchanges of 3, 4, 5 shots with variations in height and direction, Noskova loses effectiveness. And that's exactly where Eala thrives. In medium-high intensity exchanges where topspin, slice, and change of pace decide the point. According to ESPN, in her match against Yastremska at Indian Wells, Eala countered a powerful game with precise angles and her reliable two-handed backhand. If Eala can get the rallies to go to more than 4 shots, she statistically has the advantage in that scenario. This is perhaps the most intangible, but also the most powerful reason. This is the first time in history that Eala and Noskova have faced each other on the WTA Tour. Period. What does that mean tactically? It means that Noskova has no recent footage, no data on how Eala reacts when she is nervous, no idea what to expect from her left-handed serve in moments of pressure, and no way of anticipating how she will handle important points. And Eala, who has spent the last few months racking up victory after victory against opponents who also did not expect what they saw,
has confidence built on recent experience rather than nostalgia. Consider this historical statistic published by GMA News. Eala described Noskova as an incredible player, very powerful and very experienced. But she also said something very important. I'm going in there well prepared and highly motivated. That's not just talk. It's the language of someone who has won matches she shouldn't have won. Swiatek, Keys, Paulini, Yastremska, twice. And there's an additional factor. Eala has been playing the best tennis of her life under pressure throughout 2026. According to tennis.com, she has reached the quarterfinals or beyond in 6 of the last 11 months, including 3 semifinals or better. She's a player who knows how to win when it matters. Noskova, for all her talent, has a record of 5 wins in her last 10 matches, an inconsistent form, alternating wins and losses. Eala is coming in with momentum. Noskova is coming in with doubts. Let's recap. 5 concrete and verifiable reasons. 1. The left-handed factor. Noskova has never played against Eala. The angles will disorient her. 2. Double faults. Noskova averages 5.2 per match in 2026. Eala attacks her second serve better than anyone, at 59%. 3. Head-to-head record against elite players. Eala wins 50% of her matches against top 10 players. Noskova wins 33%. 4. Long rallies. When points go longer, the tactical advantage lies with Eala and her offensive backhand. 5. The psychological factor. Eala arrives with momentum and accumulated confidence. Noskova arrives after a grueling 2.5-hour match with a lost set. Does this mean that Eala is guaranteed to win? No. Noskova is ranked number 14 in the world for very real reasons. She has a serve that can dismantle any tactical plan in 5 minutes if she finds her rhythm. But the data shows one thing very clearly. This isn't the David versus Goliath match some are trying to portray. It's an open match with real tactical advantages on the Filipina's side, at a point in her career where she has repeatedly demonstrated her ability to win when it matters most. If Eala can control her nerves in the early games, doesn't give Noskova the rhythm on serve, and makes the most of her left-handedness in the rallies, this match will end in her favor. Tonight, Indian Wells could be the stage for the biggest triumph of Eala's career. And you already know exactly why it could happen. Right now, there are 2 types of people watching this video. Those who will follow the match tonight, knowing what they've just learned, and those who will watch it without this context and won't understand why certain things happen. You're already one of the former. If you want more analysis like this, with real data and no noise, you have 2 options. Subscribe now, it's free and you can cancel anytime, although I don't know why you'd want to. Or leave your prediction for tonight's match in the comments. How do you think it will end? Will Eala win in 2 sets, in 3, or will Noskova confirm her ranking? Write it below. I read everything. And if the match surprises anyone, we'll be back with the post-match analysis. Until next time, see you on the court.